So, I'm so grateful to Karen for singing that song today. It's not an accident that songs happen the way they do, when they do. And this one's absolutely been perfect for me today. Called to be a healer, a dreamer, a maker, a giver. I love her lyric, called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything I am called to be. I'm called to be everything I'm called to be. So at midnight tonight, I get to get on a plane and fly to Guatemala and then take a 6-hour bus ride to the orphanage. I thought it was 4, but apparently it's 6. And there's something in me that is very emotional about this trip. And I thought about it. I go cross country all the time, which takes just as long. It just takes just as long to get to Philadelphia as it does to get to Guatemala. Because I flew into Kennedy, picked up a car, drove 3 hours to get to my aunt's house, and then 2 more hours to get to my other aunt's house. So it's like almost the same trip. And yet there's this emotional thing in me today. And when Karen started singing this morning at rehearsal, I was just a basket of tears, asking myself, what is it? What are you feeling? And what I'm feeling is that this lyric right here, I am called to be everything I am called to be. The song moves into you are called to be. It starts with I am called to be, then it moves into you are called to be. You are called to be whatever else comes in there. And then it concludes with we are called to be. We are called to be kindness. We are called to be forgiveness. We are called to be compassion. We are called to be communion. We are called to be. And I really get the I get the me, I am called to be. I get the you, and I get the we. And now I really get the oneness of all of that. Because I am you, you are me. Wherever I go, I take you with me. Wherever I am, you are there. That's what we teach here. And that's what we're really stepping into more. And I think about this trip I'm about to take, and I just think, I'm going to a part of the world I've never been to see people who have always been there. Think about that. That's their home. They're used to that. I get to just now go home, to a home I haven't experienced yet. But to what I know is what I want to do, which is to call it home. To get to understand that wherever we go, we are home. This month, clarity is mine. Clarity is mine. There's a reason why that came to me this month and why we're living this out. Clarity is mine. And clarity is mine in what I am called to be. The title of my talk today is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Anybody watch that show? It's kind of a funny show, but that's not what this is about. I heard a quote this week, and many of you will hear it this week when you do Prosperity Plus this Wednesday evening. I'm already ahead of you because I had to prepare it for this week. And it's Dr. Thurman Fleet. And what he said is, in the middle of this presentation, his quote is, clarity is power. Clarity is power. In other words, it is up to you to be absolutely clear, and in that moment of clarity, to tap into the power that you are. Because clarity is power. It makes perfect sense. So last week, I went to CSL Philly. And the reason why my talk is titled It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, are you okay? Let's stop for 1 second. Put our love here. Are we good?
Dying.
Are you okay? You're dying?
I got cancer.
You have cancer? Okay.
The heart's pounding.
Your heart is pounding? Okay. Let's all take a deep breath and let's just honor this. You know, things come to us for a reason. You are surrounded by a lot of love. Tell me your name.
What's your name, sweetheart?
What's your name? What's your name?
What's your name?
My name's Janet Thomas.
Janet. So Janet.
Janet.
Janet. So Janet, you're surrounded by 100 people here.
So badly.
Shh, it's okay, she can talk. You're surrounded by 100 people here whose primary purpose at this moment is to love you. Do you need to lay down? Is that what you said?
No.
Do you want Reverend Nancy to take you and talk to you? Why don't we do that? Barbara, would you help her?
No. No.
You okay? Then she's okay. Okay.
This hurts so bad.
Okay. Do you want to just,
Thank you.
are you happy to sit here and just listen? Do you want to go have a cup of coffee or something and talk to Reverend Nancy?
I've been to the hospital 3 times. They won't do anything. Nothing. They gave me 1 pill.
Thank you, Barbara. See this woman next to you?
Sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. See this woman next to you right here? Turn and look at her.
Thank you.
She can do maybe what the hospital can't
It
do.
hurts badly.
So can we let her take you and talk to you?
I've only been 3 times. They won't do anything.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I have a hearing problem too.
Okay.
What? I'm okay.
Everyone just keep taking a deep breath. Let's not forget, God is everywhere we go, in every situation. And we can't turn our eyes away,
I feel like I cut my
because this is part of what today's all about. So can I do anything?
No.
You're in pain?
I've been in the hospital 3 times.
Okay. And this right here is
It's
in pain?
cancer.
Well, I can feel it. It's very
both
hot.
My parents died of it. It
Okay.
hurts so badly.
Can I take you out into the lobby
I don't
and
know. No, I'm not going.
where do you want to go?
I can't hear. I have a hearing problem.
Where do you want to go?
Pardon?
Where would you like to go?
I want to keep living.
I know. So where would you
Yes,
like to
I
go?
do.
So can I take you up here?
That's all I want to do is live.
Okay.
Okay, and I have no
Connie,
ID,
can I have you,
and I
Connie
don't have
Milner?
these-
Can you get Connie,
I
please?
need an ID, and
Okay.
I need my
Okay,
my
so
driver's license
here's what
number
we're gonna do.
so I can get
Give me your hands.
security number, but
me your hand.
I don't
Okay.
have the money to
Okay.
get it.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you. It's okay. I'm gonna take you out into the lobby, and we're gonna take you and talk to you. And Connie's gonna help you. Connie, come help, please. Connie's gonna take you out in the lobby and
No,
help
I'm
you.
afraid.
It's
Don't be
okay. No,
afraid.
don't be
We're not gonna
afraid.
send you to the
Afraid.
hospital. We're not sending you to the hospital. Don't
We're just
worry.
gonna go sit in
What
the
they
lobby.
think of me?
No, just to the lobby to get
Hallway.
you something to
the
drink,
lobby
some
to get you
water.
something
know
to
what
drink
you're
and to
saying.
relax.
Right into the lobby, right here,
We're not
to get you
sending
some
to the
water.
hospital. Don't
Come on,
worry.
sweetheart. We're just gonna get some water.
She's
Oh,
afraid
I
you're
can't get
taking her
up.
to the
Okay, then you're good. Then just stay right here, but you stay here with her and help. Okay.
God, I work in the movie business, so he looks like somebody who used to work.
I look like someone you used to know? Probably. Okay. So,
You know?
so,
No, not like this.
so here's what I'm going to ask though. I'm just going to ask that you try to be a little quiet so I can finish, and then I will help you later, I promise. But let me finish for everybody else, okay? Okay. You're good. So, I'm going to skip ahead in my talk because I feel like there's something else I need to say now. When I was in Philadelphia, the title of the talk is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's a reason for that. When I went to Philadelphia, I'm from Philadelphia, so I went to Philadelphia with a set of paradigms in my head, with a set of ideas. I went to Philadelphia expecting Philadelphia to be what I thought Philadelphia was going to be. And I went to visit a friend who was dying of, she has a disease, but she has Alzheimer's and doesn't really remember much of who she is. But here was the irony. When I walked into the room, okay. When I walked into her room, her name is Betty, she looked up and hasn't really known much of anyone for the last 6 months. She looked up and looked me right in the face and said, "Jimmy Mellon." And if you say Jimmy Mellon, you're probably from Philly. And she sat up in bed, and she looked great, and she gave me a big hug and went on and on about Jimmy Mellon. But one of the first things she said to me was, she was like, you you are Jimmy Mellon, but you look different than Jimmy Mellon. And she was like, you're welcome. She said, you're bigger. You have bigger shoulders. You have, and then at one point she said, you have a butt. Because she used to say to me, you have no butt. Except she didn't say butt. And so for the 4 hours that I got to spend with her, she kept trying to make sense between the Jimmy Mellon she knew and the Jimmy Mellon that came to visit her. And it was beautiful, and she cried, and it was just this beautiful experience and profound for me, because at one point she looked at me and she said, Jimmy, do you believe in God yet? And I was like, well, Bet, I've always believed in God. She went, no. Do you believe in my God? So this goes back to years and years of discussions about God, from when I was a Catholic and she was a Methodist, to me becoming a Buddhist and her being a Methodist, and me doing Course in Miracles and her moving into being a Methodist, and then me finding New Thought and becoming a minister and her being a Methodist. And so here she is saying to me, no, do you believe in my God? And I looked at her and I said, I took her hands and I was like, Betty, your God is my God, because there's only one God. And she said, oh, thank God, he finally gets it. And I have to tell you, it was quite a moment, because here's someone, and my friend, who I've had my friend for 50 years, it's her mother. She was like, this conversation is like miraculous. She doesn't have these conversations with us. And, but you know, your subconscious mind is so steeped in what you know. Your subconscious mind. Kevin said to me the other day, I was singing the lyrics to, what was that song? Remember the song and I found the lyrics to it? Anyway, I remembered these lyrics to this really weird song, and Kevin's like, it's amazing to me. You can remember those lyrics, but you can't remember what I said to you yesterday.
I'm sorry, the song was If I Loved You.
It was If I Loved You from Carousel. And he's in the car starting to sing these lyrics that were not right. And so I decided to sing the correct lyrics, and that's when he's like, sure, you can remember those lyrics, but you can't remember what I asked you to do yesterday. But you know why? And I said there's a reason for that, because of course I always feel I must teach. I said there's a reason for that, and the reason is that our subconscious mind doesn't forget. We can tap into the subconscious. We're mostly only blurry in the conscious mind. We're only blurry in our conscious mind. Clarity runs deep in the subconscious. So when we tap into the subconscious, you know that, right? You just pull things up. Suddenly you pull things up. And that's what I'm talking about with this idea of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. When I went back to Philadelphia, it was all about the idea that here was Philadelphia, this was this relative, and I knew what I always knew about them. I knew the old Philadelphia, but I had to experience the new Philadelphia. I had to experience a paradigm that was real in this moment, in this present moment. And as I drove into Philadelphia, it really was very different for me, the whole experience. And when I went to, and my relatives, most of my relatives, don't treat me like Jimmy Mellon. They don't. Most of them have grown with me and watched me turn into the man I am today, and they come from that point of view. And it's my job to also make sure I come from that point of view when I view everyone else. Because when we deal with everyone else, we have to ask ourselves, what paradigm am I in? How am I relating to these people? How am I relating to life? Your life is expressing the way it is because you believe something. You're living in a paradigm of some consciousness, some atmosphere of belief that's designating how you believe in that moment. And yet, The idea of it's always sunny in Philadelphia is that it's always sunny somewhere in the world. The sun, weather, happens at a lower level of consciousness, doesn't it? Weather. Think about weather. Weather, the stuff of your life. The rain, the sun, the snow, the storms, right? The turbulence. It happens at a certain atmospheric level, which is why planes tend to fly above that for clear sailing, where it's always sunny. So there is a part of your consciousness where it's absolutely always sunny. It's always clear sailing. It is always smooth. It is always perfect, beautiful weather. And it's when we tap into the I am, when we actually step into that place. So I'm in Philadelphia and I'm having this, I had an amazing weekend last weekend. And when I was giving the service, it was interesting. I started to speak and all of a sudden my Philadelphia accent came out. I got up and I went, thank you so much. I want to just say, and I was like, did I just say I? And they all laughed and I said, you probably didn't think that was weird, did you? Because you all say I. That means all right, in case you didn't know. And I realized I was talking like my relatives. And I was talking like my relatives. Talking from the relatives. Living at the level of the relatives. Please don't confuse that with my ancestors. The relatives of life. We all do it, don't we? Where we suddenly talk as the relative. We suddenly live at the level of the relatives. When our job is to rise up to Philadelphia, where it is always sunny. In Philadelphia, if Philadelphia can now be a metaphor for God, they're going to love me for this. And I had the most amazing time talking to these people who were so thirsty. They haven't had a minister in a while. They were so thirsty for new thought, for someone to come in like I kind of do, which is like as a hurricane, and just like, this is what it is. You know, and I had the most amazing time with this incredible group of people who literally pushed me up into the stratosphere, into where it's always sunny. So, you all get that concept, yes? It's always sunny in Philadelphia, and there's a place in you where it is always sunny, where the truth lives. That's our job, to go there. Oh, it's okay. Really, it's okay. Where the truth lives. So, I came back from Philadelphia. Back to the relatives. So, there was one relative, however, who does not deal with me from the paradigm or from the man I've become, but always as the boy I was. And in fact, this one relative is still holding a major grudge and a lot of anger around the fact that I ever moved to California. That was 18 years ago. So, now this is not to make this relative wrong. This is who this relative is, and I honor that's who that person is. But I got to see the difference in when we are stuck in some level of relative reality and what that does to us. What our lives are like when we live at the level of the conditions of our lives. When we don't take the time to understand the truth, when we don't take the time to remember who we are, when we don't take the time to rise above it, and we live at that level. So, great thanks to Laurie Donato for asking those questions. How can it be better than this? The answer is, step it up in consciousness. The answer is, Lynn Wask, consciousness. It's about taking your mind and raising it to a level of consciousness where you don't let yourself bicker, you don't let yourself react on being angry, where you don't let yourself gossip, where you don't let yourself ... whatever it is you tend to let yourself do. Because as soon as you do that, you have gone back down into the weather of the relative world and lived in that atmosphere. So it really is a question of choice. Yesterday, I did a funeral at Forest Lawn for a man named Dino Williams. I get all verklempt when I even think about yesterday. You know, it's rare for someone to ask me to do a funeral outside of my own congregation or relatives. And it did come through this congregation because it came from Joe Jordan's daughter, who is a friend of this person, his father who passed. And I met with them, and I agreed to do this funeral knowing that it was something that I was called to do. And then I had the privilege of spending the time researching this man's life and reading about his life in order to write the eulogy. And as I did, and went into his parents' parents, to his parents, to him being born and a native of Los Angeles, and this is the family that built the entire Beechwood Market in Beechwood Canyon, and built all of the property around there. It's from that far long ago, and they're still the owners of that property. So it was, and we got to go to the reception afterwards, right behind the market. It was just beautiful. And as I went through his life, his marriage and his children, and I found myself sitting in my backyard, literally awash in emotion, tears. When it got to his wife passing, it was just, I had such emotion about the whole thing. And after his children moved out of his house, he turned to his wife and he said, "All right, now it's time for us to get to know each other better and to start enjoying one another." And then took her around the world to travel. And I thought, what a brilliant man. And he was an artistic man. His art and his sculptures, all about art. And what I got to understand was this man wasn't just an artist. This man was a man who actually understood how to live life as a piece of art. His life was a piece of art. His whole life was a piece of art. And I think sometimes we spend too much time focusing on what are our accomplishments, as opposed to, and we hear it all the time, it's about the journey. But it is about the journey. Because in the end, yesterday at the end of the service, when they showed the video of his whole life, I could barely get back up to speak, watching this life from birth to death, or as we say in West Side Story, from womb to tomb. That wasn't long. That's good. Longer than usual, thank you. No, because If I Loved You is from Carousel. Just to be clear, right? When I looked at that video, I had a vision for all of us. I thought about how I get to come in here today and talk to you all and then get on a plane tonight and go to Guatemala. I had this vision, this expansive vision about the oneness that we live and about the lives that we're living. We get so myopic in our approach to life, as though where we are really is where it all is. It's not. You are where it all is, but you aren't all of it. And I looked at this man, and one of his relatives got up and said, "Thank you, Uncle Dino. You taught me that I have been lazy with my life." And when Laurie Donato said, "How could this get better? How could this be better? How could this be more?" I said to myself, that's really what this was all about yesterday. Saying to me, saying to all of you, isn't there more to live in your life? Janet, thank you for being here. Yes. We're not done, Robbie. Just sounded like that. But you can stay. You and I will never know what her life is all about. We will never know where it started, how it got to where it is right now. And we will never know, and unless you actually think you do know, you don't. We don't know where her life is about to expand to. We just don't. We know we were a part of it in this moment. We know we were a part of it, and the part you play in it depends on how you use your mind, right here and right now. Love only. There's nothing to forgive. And remember who you are, remember who she is, remember who we all are. So, as I conclude here today, and I remember what yesterday felt like, in the presence of this moment, I know that I actually asked myself, when this woman said, "Thank you for teaching me that I have been lazy up till now, I will do more," I said to myself, wow, what if I actually said to myself, "I've been lazy up till now, I can do more"? And first of all, the thought that I'm lazy blows my mind. But I honored the question. And I went, if I am lazy, and if there's more to do, what would that look like? What would that be? And I'm not lazy. You're not lazy. Maybe you are. Maybe some of you are lazy. I don't know. But I'm not lazy. But there is so much more for me to do. And I get to start that tonight. A little bit of the more. It's just the beginning. So, to leave you this morning with so much that has just happened. So talk about being present in the moment. First of all, I say thank you to you for being here and being present in this moment, for being a community that will love only, that will love. I know there's more for us to know, there's more for us to learn, there's more for us, as Karen said, to be, but more importantly, you are being called. We are all being called to be. And here's the thing, you don't need to put anything after that. Don't create a drama in your life by trying to put something after "I'm called to be" what? Right? That's not it. When we talk about purpose, we're not talking about something specific. Purpose is love. Purpose is being love. That's it. That's my purpose, to be love. I am called to be. And if I'm willing to be wherever I go, then I have lived my purpose, which is just to be. And that's what I will leave you with. Namaste.